Alex, great to have you on Exponential Wealth. How's it going?
It's going great, Aaron. Hey, great to join you as always. Love talking to you, connecting with you, talking about client relationships, marketing, what financial advisors are doing now, and what you see in the future.
Yeah. I love you on the show, first of all, because we got to meet in person at LPL's Focus last year. You and Derek DeMano picked me out of the crowd, and I thought that was great. So proof that social marketing on LinkedIn and other channels does get your name and face out there. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, and as you know, Focus was in California, San Diego specifically last year. We always like going out there. We're on the East Coast. You get to live out there all the time. We're slightly jealous. We don't get the weather you guys get. So we love visiting. I can't wait to get out and meet with you guys and see you guys out there. Hopefully we can do that soon. But in the meantime, the beautiful thing about technology, it lets us have these conversations whenever we want.
That's right, Alex. Yeah. And you are welcome. You guys are welcome. You and your team, Seth and everybody at Oakenstone, all you guys are always welcome out here. So, Alex, I've been doing this for a while. We met, and this will be the first iteration of us doing a show together. Hired you to help me chop up some videos and get this great information that we have as financial planners to really the vision is to get this to existing clients, prospects, and then people who happen to casually hear about this content who are looking to make a change in their personal lives. When I was taught in this career at the beginning, is people that hire financial advisors are typically there's something that's happening, right? There's some movement, there's a money movement. Something's happened in life to trigger this moment, this aha moment that gets you to hire a financial advisor. And so, really looking forward to our work together, getting this information to our clients, existing and future. And then also, Alex, talking to you today about how we as advisors can better sharpen our toolkit to deliver what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's a great point. And, what more advisors need to understand, and Aaron, you have a great grip on this, is that the way you need to share information with your clients has changed, right? And, you have to have touch points and you have to be in front of people. And the way you do that now is changing, right? So you can talk about technology, how AI is changing how we communicate, how AI is changing how we understand and believe what's authentic that's coming from people, right? So, just even like what we're doing today, having a conversation on video, getting right to the points on what clients are looking for, the information they want, how they can understand how financial advisors can fit their needs. This is a great avenue to do it. It shows who you really are, lets you get out there and get in front of people in a way that's comfortable.
Right. So, Alex, the big questions that folks are asking me in terms of when they're just meeting me and my team and wanting to get to know us, and you could chime in if this is true for you. I'd say the top of mind is because we've read the books. Can I grab one for you? Because I was just
Definitely.
given this one by a client. Everybody knows this guy, right? Right.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of these books, and I've got a whole bunch of them. Either I've read them or I've glanced through them, or Chat GPT has helped me glean the meaning. We want to know first and foremost, does my advisor have my best interest at heart? Right. And that's the fiduciary standard. LPL makes that really easy for us. Um, all of our documentation, all of our due diligence that we have makes it easy for us to make the right decisions and have a broker dealer back up those decisions and our justifications for why we invest in a certain manner. So I'd probably say one of the top questions that I get as a financial advisor when folks are looking to hire me at the front end. How about you? What has been kind of top of mind as you work with advisors and what clients are looking for from them?
Yeah, I think what clients are looking for with a financial advisor is very similar to what they're looking for with most service professional industry or service industry professionals. Let me say that correctly. And it's they want to work with people, and this is an old adage, and we talk about this all the time with our advisors. They want to work with people that they know, like, and trust, right? So they want to know you. They want to have some connection to you, right, in the community. They may share some interest with you, and then they want to like you. So like with your advisor, you're meeting with them a couple times a year, typically. Sometimes you're sitting down with them for an hour, you're having phone conversations. You're going through, as you know, Aaron, like these moments in life, these life-changing portions. You're getting married, you're buying your first home, you're preparing for retirement, your kids are, a couple years from going to college and you're trying to catch up on your savings. So, you want to have those conversations and you got to get, deep into it with people. And that's why you want the last element of this, right? Which is you want to trust your advisor. You want to know that they have your best interest in heart, that they care about you. And then you want to work with somebody that the other element of this is like someone who understands you, like he gets the pain points that you have, the problems that you're dealing with, has seen it before, will see it again, knows how to talk to you about it, knows how to explain those things. And those are the things we typically see. And I know Aaron, one of the things you're great at connecting with clients. I know you can sit down with people and relate to them. I don't think that's true of every advisor. It's a unique trait. It's one of your skills. So I'm gonna turn this question around on you, right? So let's talk about that know, like, and trust, right?
Mm.
So what are your thoughts on that as a financial advisor, as they're just trying to get your message out to people that you're working with, or just what you're seeing in an everyday experience with your clients?
Yeah, no, I love that. You want to know who your advisor is, know where they live, what they stand for. You want to like them because you want to you want to emulate the success that they have, right? There's obviously a reason why you'd want to put your money because you know that they can grow it or they can help you with financial decisions. Trust that takes time to build. That's it. The most best is when it's borrowed trust from an introduction from an existing client that already works with us. That's probably one of the highest levels of trust. If someone that you already know says, "Hey, I've been working with Aaron and his team for a long time. These guys have done great work for me," you can trust them. Know, like, and trust. If you, the client, has the option to choose from a whole handful of advisors, and say you'd be investing, you're getting the same type of knowledge, same type of implementation between each advisor, well, then you're going to want to have these conversations with people that you like. I think that the don't blame the messenger, blame the message, I think we've
Sure.
heard, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I think there is something to be said about the messenger. You wrap up a good message like video. I mean, get back to advisor marketing or education, which is what I'm interested in. Putting that message in a good wrapper, I think is really valuable, and that's why we're on video today. Um, and that is what clients get a sense of, right? They get a sense of it in meetings with me and my team, and then they get a sense of it from listening or from watching these videos. And very powerful stuff indeed, because I think without, like, everybody hires a coach to get them to implement the changes that they so begrudgingly choose or have not chosen to do yet. And I think that liking and trusting and knowing the person, I think that those really come together well to deliver great results for our clients.
Aaron, so I want to this relates a little bit to our conversation, but I think this is a big thing. So, obviously I work on the marketing side. So a lot of my core focus, or what I'm doing on a daily basis, is trying to understand how to get a message across on what you do as an advisor, right? We're trying to explain to people what an advisor really does. And I think what you see is there's a lot of very common misconceptions on what a financial advisor does, right? So, one of the big ones is, well, I'm hiring this guy to invest my money, or a guy or girl to invest my money. That's what they did. They're a financial advisor, right? But as you know, it's so much more than that. It's extremely so much more than that. So, I'd love for you to share, like, how often you see the misconceptions, and then maybe dive into a little bit, explain to people what a true good financial advisor is really going to be doing for you.
Right. Yeah, no, this is great. And that's a great actually segue between the know, like, and trust, because now, Alex, what you're asking about is what are the conversations we have? What are the strategies that we talk about in those client meetings, right? When I'm meeting with clients. And the best way for me to do that is to give you some examples. The meeting I had just before this session that we just had, which is why I'm wearing a coat, looking good on Zoom. It's not for
Looking
you, Alex.
great. You're
It's
looking
for my
great.
clients. Thank you. You too. Uh, we started the conversation about they just entered retirement. And this is probably one of the best moments where you feel like, wow, I'm doing great work in the world. And as a fellow educator, that actually is very important to me. I was an educator for many years before becoming a financial advisor and now educator. The client has children, 4 adult children. One of them has a special need and can't take care of themselves financially. So do we talk about investment accounts and how the S&P 500 performed and how artificial intelligence, Bitcoin price, the resurgence of this, that, and the other thing? No, we didn't talk about those things. We talked about the stuff that was important to the client, which was, hey, I just entered retirement, so I don't get a paycheck anymore. So let's review my fixed income sources. Let's take a look at the investment accounts. How much do I need to draw from those? And then the really heartfelt questions. How do I take care of my adult child with a disability after I'm gone? And they didn't even think to ask these questions. There's things that you can do with estate planning to address that. There's things that you can do with a corporate trustee to reduce friction between adult children. So we had this long, winding conversation about what happens when you and your husband aren't here. What type of legacy do you want to leave for your kids? We ended that's a whole another dimension, Alex, right? Just to keep checking down the agenda, we looked at their traditional IRA. They were heavy traditional. They have no income now besides Social Security and some other small fixed income sources. So then we talked about Roth conversions. Then we got to have that conversation. So I think that um, having a relationship with a financial advisor, the expectation is that we're going to be talking about investments, but the reality is you're going to be talking about taxes, estate planning, your family, your travel. I got to hear about all their travels through Mexico. They took their whole family to Mexico, about they're taking their family to Ireland and Scotland next year, right? And I get to hear about these stories. That's really the reality of it, is that you think it's just this one slice of the pie when it's actually something much greater. And I think that's something that you experience when you go through a planning process with a financial advisor like myself. It's hard to get a sense of that just listening to this. You really have to do it in order to experience it. And our clients that have signed up with us, that work with us, have great things to say. And I think it's that relationship that really is the value that drives the relationship forward.
So when you talk about the investing, it's just the one pillar, right? That's what people don't realize. Like you're building a building, you got investing, insurance, tax management, you have legacy planning, right? You have all these things. But there's the misconception about investing is so common. And what great advisors do is when they sit down with a prospect or a client or a referral, or whatever, they really break down how these things all combine and become one. And obviously that's something you understand and do really well. I don't know if they all do that well, and maybe that's where a lot of that misconception comes. And on the marketing side, it's always something we're thinking about and trying to get the right information out there.
Right.
You had
Well,
mentioned, go ahead, Aaron.
Well, I was gonna say that the marketing piece. I mean, we have clients that I teach in-person retirement seminars, and we have people that go to those and they go, well, I've done, they're 50 to 70 years old. They've had their accounts with Vanguard or Fidelity or Schwab for 30 years. They've never known any different. And Vanguard did an incredible job creating an index, right? I mean, the Bogleheads, that's a real thing. You could have, so you hear this message over and over again by this guy too, where why would you pay an advisor fee? And all you're thinking about is this one little sliver of the pie. But the great thing about it is I use a Vanguard study that they commission themselves that shows that paying the fee and working with a financial advisor, because they control all these other aspects besides just the investment management, which is not a small piece, right? If you work for a publicly traded company, a lot of your compensation is in RSUs. You might finish your career with an entirely out of whack portfolio with your actual risk tolerance. And what do you do in that moment? You all these capital gains on these long-term shares you have in company stock. If you work for one of the large tech companies around here, the prices fluctuate a lot. So if you have large expenses like a home purchase or remodel or retirement, I don't know if you want to step into those financial decisions with so much of that risk on the table.
Mm.
Vanguard shows you in the study that working with the advisor and paying that fee is actually you're netting alpha on top of that because of the holistic advice you're getting from a good advisor. That being said, Vanguard produced the study themselves, and people that are savvy can potentially do this on their own, but they're not going to get the tax, the legal, the protection planning, and all those things that you mentioned. So that's really the job that we need to do, financial advisors, with the help of marketers like you, Alex, to get that message across to folks that we can help.
Aaron, you started talking about relationships a little bit at the end of that last before we jump to that. And I want to talk a little bit more about relationships. So, you know, every client's a little bit different. Your connection with them is a little bit different. Like maybe you have a more natural inclination with some than others. You're a little more friendly with some, but I think there's probably some like core things that define from both your end and the client's end, like what a successful client advisor relationship really looks like. I think personally, and I'll kind of route to you here to talk a little bit more about this, but like, just the understanding and the consistency of the communication and the trust is obviously a key thing. But what do you think? What do you think are some of the factors that are the most important?
That's a great question. And actually, when I meet with a prospective client before they hire me, I share with them what I expect and what I'm looking for in clients as well, right? Because this is it's a very unique career, right? When I was a classroom teacher, I was assigned students, and I'd have 180 of them, 190 of them. I had no choice in who they were. I had to work with them and prepare them as best they could through the material of that calendar year. And then at the end of that year, they're all gone, and I get a whole new 190. And about now, I've got a little over 190 families, a few more that I work with currently. And these are all folks that we work together by choice, right? They choose me, and I choose them. I value relationships with clients that are incredibly intelligent, that could do this on their own, but choose to delegate. Just like the top performers, like Jeff Bezos can run Amazon without anyone. Bill Gates can run Microsoft without anyone. Steve Jobs could have run Apple when he was here without, well, I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily true. And I'm not saying that these folks work in a silo and
They're
all
pretty
they
smart
do is
guys. They can do a
leadership.
lot of things, right? No
Yeah, so
question.
they can do a lot of things, but they delegate. They go, I could do this, but I only have a certain amount of time. So I understand the process. Aaron, I understand why we're doing Roth conversions this year. I understand why we're putting this special needs trust in place. Aaron, I understand why we're investing in these certain protection policies to protect our estate. They understand all those things, and they love when we put it together in a plan, present it to them, and then say, thank you so much for getting this done on my behalf. I don't want to think about it until we meet next. And I think that makes a great relationship because they understand why we're doing what we're doing, so we don't get pushback. There's buy-in that we all agree. And then there is the, hey, implement this on our behalf and then report back to us on how we're doing. And I think those are great kind of fundamentals in the relationship. So deeper than that, because I think you were asking, does deeper than that, I'm a family man with kids, and I have a strong relationship with my parents and my siblings, my cousins. And for me, this job feels like family. So folks that do become clients turn out to be family and say, Aaron, I feel like I've known you for a long time. That's an important piece of this, and as we work together, not just the first year, but the 5th year, the 10th year, we work together for a long time. Those relationships build and build. And those are the relationships that are the strongest, and you see the best results for clients, right? Because they're taking the advice, we're meeting on a consistent basis, checking on things as we progress through the year, and really stay on top of things. And that's when we get the best outcomes for our clients. And those are the relationships that I want with the folks that I work with.
Aaron, let's talk about your background a little bit because it's unique, right? So you worked for quite a while in education, right? So I don't know how common this path is, but you worked in education and then got into financial advising. So one of the things we see a lot with financial advisors is there's complicated philosophies and ideas and things that you're doing. and it can be difficult to communicate it with clients, right? So now you're coming from a world where, you know, you have to communicate philosophies and concepts in a way that younger people can understand, right? So now you've transitioned, and I'm curious like how that impacts like how you look at the way you talk with your clients, communicate things, make sure they understand what you're doing, because that's where a lot of disconnects often happen.
Yeah. No, Alex, yeah, I was a assistant principal of a bilingual charter school in the Mission District of San Francisco before
Hmm.
joining SageCrest. That was kind of my last. I'd done teaching ever since I was in college when I was an intern, interning at the Capital Area Literacy Coalition in Lansing, Michigan, teaching English to refugees. Um, and that really gave me a background to want to serve people, and also seeing this gaping hole in what's missing in people's education, which is financial literacy. And I think that what makes working with me and my team a little different is that I ask questions. I ask a lot of questions. For example, if I meet with a new prospect and they want to sign on and work with us, I'll ask them how in depth we need to talk about the investments. My team and I can spend a whole hour talking about ETF selection, about emerging markets, about trends in the economy for the upcoming quarter, about interest rates, about sector investing in technology, communications, healthcare, biotech, onshore, offshore, geopolitical risk. These are things that we could talk about for hours. Some people don't care about that at all, Alex. I mean, they're like, Aaron, I want to know that I'm okay.
Most most
Show
don't
show me how
care.
the account's done. It's done okay. Like, okay, there's been a dip. I get it. And now we've recovered. I get it. The economy goes in cycles. That's fine. Other of our clients want to talk about India. They want to talk about China. They want to talk about Bitcoin. They want to talk about real estate. And we handle those things in different ways. But the customized nature of the relationship is if you want to talk to us more about gifting strategies to the next generation, and maybe we talk about investing the next time, then that's something that we build into our meetings and as we get to know our clients. So really have a deep understanding about their needs. And then a lot of people, Alex, this is the final thing about teaching. I mean, a lot of people are overwhelmed when it comes to their money. They're overwhelmed by the vast amount of information out there. And as the new hot thing takes off, like this quarter was Nvidia, watching Nvidia's rise. In 2020, it was GameStop, it was Tesla, it was Facebook, it was this, that. There's so many these little nagging things that pull your attention. And so for us to be able to distill that in a way for our clients, I feel that my education background leads into breaking down those concepts to make them more palatable and to make it so that clients understand that it's actually not that complicated. You can get very complicated. You can get PhD advanced mathematics with looking at all the ways to analyze the movements in stocks and the stock market. But you don't have to be a math physicist and a PhD to understand this. And so really trying to bring complex concepts, explain them so a fifth grader can understand them, and to reduce the stigma around finance so that people want to learn more. And so our clients come in apprehensive, scared about money, leave afterwards after working with us, that they're not afraid to ask questions about how money works, how markets work, how interest rates work, how taxes work. And when people aren't afraid and ask questions, then we can actually do our job much better because people reveal what their fears are, what their concerns are, and then we can get in there and really build a financial plan and an investment strategy really customized to them.
Aaron, let's look at a situation, right? So someone's out there and something has happened. Something has convinced them that they need financial planning help. Maybe they don't have any, they've never used an advisor. They did some stuff for themselves, but now they realize they need to operate at a different level. Let's pretend you don't exist, right? Because the easy answer is you call Aaron, all right? That's answer one in real world,
Sure.
right? So let's take that off the table. Let's pretend you don't exist, or even you could say, let's pretend you're not a financial advisor, you never were, and you were going to look for someone, right? Let's go through like what should people be looking for? Like what are the key things that they should value when they're looking for someone to help them?
Yeah. No, Alex, that's the list of questions, right? That folks walk in and ask me, and I love when they do it. So if you're looking for a financial advisor, I guess you'd start with Googling it, right? Like financial advisors in my area. And if you're in the San Francisco Peninsula, you're going to find a lot. There's a lot of us. Or if you're in New York, maybe in your area too, right outside of Pittsburgh and Philly, there's a lot of advisors. So how do you choose? And the best way is probably going to be, and that's why we're doing this video, is to get a sense of what the person looks like, their background. Their website should articulate the types of clients that they work for. So I work a lot, my team and I work a lot with professionals who have worked for publicly traded companies. So they've got a
Mm-hmm.
lot of stock options or RSUs, considerations and different ways to get compensated. So though, like if that's who you are, you'd want to find an advisor who has familiarity and comfortability with those topics. So you want to know we can go down the list. Alex, you want to know that they're a fiduciary. They want to know that they work with your target audience. Like if you're a dentist, you want to work with a financial advisor that maybe works with dentists who own their small practice. So have a niche. You want to know if they're fee-based or commission-based. And typically, more and more advisor firms are going fee-based. So what that means is there'll be a flat fee for a financial plan and then an asset under management fee for the management of assets. Okay. And the next thing, you want to know that the advisors are independent, that they have an open architecture platform from which they can operate. If you only have a hammer, then the world looks like a nail. So you want to make sure that the advisor firm that you hire can take on all the complex things that we're talking about. Now, we don't do estate planning and we don't do taxes, but we will connect our clients with an estate planning attorney and with a tax professional and interface with them. I'll have estate planning attorneys meet with my clients here in my office. So how do you know that, or how would you get a sense of that? You would see on their website, but then you'd also want to see if they have YouTube videos or a LinkedIn profile. And you would want to schedule time and talk to them and ask them how they interact with clients. Um, Education focused. So if that's of interest to you, then well, how are you educating us throughout the year? Are you sending out newsletters, timely emails on topics like it's tax season, so I need to know how and where to collect my tax documents and what considerations do I need to be making? So those are some of the considerations that you want to make when hiring a financial advisor. And then mostly just that you like the person, that you look in their eyes and you say, you know what, they have the background, they've got the licenses. Oh, here's another one. You want to go on FINRA's website. You can look if they have any disclosures, right? You can see if they are in good standing with a broker dealer. And if those things are all true, then you have to meet them and kind of judge for yourself kind of at the beginning. Do you like them? Do you feel like you know them? And can you trust them? And I think those are great. I'll end with yours because I really like those a lot. So that's a great way for folks to start. And then interview a few. You got to interview. Even if I'm there, I'm existing, and I got this recommendation to meet with Aaron. Don't just take my word for it. Have the meeting with me and my team, and then meet with other advisor teams and see which one you feel more connected to, right? Because this is a relationship that builds through time. So you want to get to know your advisor before moving. And then once you move, dive in headlong, and trust that that's the relationship, and then take time to build the relationship because only good will come.
I think one you mentioned, Aaron, that a lot of people don't realize is that not all advisors are generalists. They specialize. They understand some industries better than others. They understand some professions better than others. They understand compensation structures that are different across different professions, right? So ask advisors about that. Hey, this is what I do for a living. This is what my spouse, my wife does for a living. My husband does for a living, right? And this is how we're paid. And like, have you experienced that before? Have you seen that? Like, what do you typically do in these situations? I think those are good questions to ask because so many advisors really understand certain industries now or work with a lot of people within the same company. And that a lot of advisors grow in similar like referrals to people that work in the same industry, right? It's just kind of naturally how it happens. But As you mentioned, you have groups that you work with that you really understand really well, and you're a great option to help them, and I think that's important.
Yeah, another one. I mean, I I want to reach out to specific publicly traded companies, legacy companies. There are a few, like Lockheed Martin is one, for example, and that there's going to be more. I don't know about the newer tech companies, but some of these older companies have certain benefits for their employees that have owned company stock for a very long time. So if you have something called net unrealized appreciation, and Alex, you'll laugh because Derek and I have done we've talked about this a whole bunch. I'm really passionate about Roth. These are the things that maybe a lot of advisors don't talk about, but Roth conversions or, you know, maximizing the mega backdoor Roth, net unrealized appreciation. So these are just great follow-up questions for advisors that you're interviewing. Hey, have you helped clients implement net unrealized appreciation with their employer's long-held company stock? Hey, how do you feel about Roth conversions or Roth contributions? How do you balance tax savings today versus tax savings over a lifetime? Those are also some great questions. And really get into drilling down into, can this advisor help me with my specific need? So if you have a specific need, whether that's coaching, education, hand holding, or one of these specific strategies that I just mentioned, that you want to make sure you're asking as you're looking for an advisor to help serve you.
Aaron, I want to ask you one more thing, if you don't mind. I've really enjoyed talking with you, getting your insight into some of these things. Do you have any like stories or memorable experiences you've had with a client, or like something that sticks out to you that you kind of sticks with you?
Yeah. How much time we got, Alex?
Give me your one. I want to hear your best one, Aaron,
Well,
off the top of your head.
recently we had a client who, after 4 years, finally sat down with the estate planning attorney and created a family trust. They owned 4 properties in 3 different states. They had 2 adult children, a business they own, and kind of just let it all, it was all okay, right? There was no problem. And then it took about 4 years to get this client. They moved the assets, started managing the assets, started with the financial plan 4 years ago. But it wasn't until 4 years later we finally did the estate planning documents. Had the client here in the office with the estate planning attorney. I was here assigned as the witness. And I knew that he was taken care of, his family was taken care of. And a promise I made 4 years ago when he first joined as a client was kept, because I got that. It took me badgering this guy for 4 years to get that done. And afterwards, he was so glad. He's such a relief that he finally got the estate plan done. And that's a good story because that's how I know that I'm doing my job.
That's the stuff that sticks with you, man. That's the power of it for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of people need help, Alex. A lot of people have questions about how money works, how inheritance works, how leaving a legacy works. If you're charitably inclined, if you want to bounce your last check on planet Earth, there's just so much out there that people should understand. And there's a great space for me and other like-minded financial advisors to lead with education and do our best, because the work that we do can make have a serious outcome for positive. So that's why I love what I do. And Alex, I appreciate you. I appreciate the work that we're going to do together. You're going to help me deliver that message to the masses. And where should we go from? Alex, I didn't really get to ask you all that many questions. So I hope we get to do this again and learn more about how you are delivering advice to advisors with the essence that we are going to implement these strategies for our clients and make everyone better off for them.
Well, Aaron, as you know, sneak peek, I'm going to have you on my show, our marketing show, Advisor Marketing Explained. Dive a little bit more into the marketing side with you. Excited to do that. Happy anytime I can have a conversation with you, of course.
Let's do it, Alex. Alex, it's been a pleasure talking with you today.
You as well, Aaron. Appreciate it. Have a good one.